Alright, good morning. Today we're looking at a cargo hauler that I've been messing around with for probably about the last week. I call this the Quasimoto because of its unusual shape. It's a very small ship for the amount of cargo it holds. I think I got it up to 9,000, and that's about as high as I can go without having the mobility drop below 100. So that was the threshold. I wanted to keep the mobility at 100 and see how high I could get the cargo. And I also wanted to see how small I could make the ship. You know, because most people, when they build a cargo hauler, they think of it as being like this massive ship, and I wanted to try, something a little different. So if we look at the ship builder
We're
here,
asking everyone. Okay, no problem.
you see it only measures 16 by 21 to the center line, and there's not much to it. If you take the bridge off and the engines, all the ship is just this little section right here. So it was challenging. Basically, the ship is just made up of these Taio 203 cargo holds, and I originally tried to do it without having these wings on the sides, and the real issue is I could get the cargo all into the center section here, so it would be like without the wings. However, there's nowhere to put the gears. The gears there has to be 6 of these Nova Galactic 20 landing gears, and there's just nowhere else to put them. So unless you like extend the ship out a little bit longer, and that's exactly what I was trying to avoid. I wanted to keep it as short lengthwise as possible. Oops. So it's these 6 SAL 6830 engines. If you want to have the most cargo possible while keeping that mobility at 100, these are really the only engines to go for. They have a huge amount of maneuvering thrust and engine thrust per engine, and you can get 6 of them on your ship because they only use 2 power. So I did play around with some ideas where I was going to do it like this. Then I could extend out some of the 1x1 cargo habs to 2x1s and give it some more internal hab space. But I don't know. I just like the way I just like the way that looked. Excuse me, got a little bit of a cold here. So like I said, there's not much to the ship. Its main strengths are it's a massive amount of cargo, 9,000 base level cargo, and then the weapons are fairly decent. They're B-class weapons, except for these missiles. These are C-class weapons. The main weakness is I had to use the Bulwark shield generator instead of a true Class C shield generator. There's not that much difference. I think it's only 150 shield power in between the two, but the big shield from Assurance is 160 mass, whereas this one's only 70, so it's a 90 mass difference. It's massive amount of mass difference. And there's just no way to get the cargo up to 9,000 with that other shield on. I tried everything. I don't think it can be done. So we went with the Bulwark shield generator, and the other big compromise I had to make is the amount of fuel the ship carries. It's just these 2 Titan 450 HE3 tanks, so it only has like 220 fuel. I have the perks that cut my fuel in half, but it's not a major issue. Like if you had to go all the way across the settled systems, you just have to make 2 jumps instead of 1. But this was more of a ship built for looks instead of for actual functionality. So, and by looks, I mean it's fairly ugly. That's why I call it Quasimoto. But it does have a unique style for a cargo hauler. So anyways, there's not much to this ship. You got the 2 wings that hold 4 of these 203 cargo holds. The 6 engines. I say it, I think, in every video. You got to do a quest or a mission called All That Money Can Buy that Stroud gives it to you. It's a stealth mission, so you have to do the stealth mission without killing anybody. And if you do that, then these engines are made by Slayton Aerospace. So Slayton is the CEO of another company, and he gives Stroud access to these engines if you do the quest without killing anybody. As far as the ship itself, there's not much to it. It's very simplistic. Another weakness obviously is because it's just basically made up of cargo modules. There's only a single 2x1 hab. And that means I can only get the crew up to 6. So the only way to get the crew up to 7, or excuse me, 8, would be to use a different cockpit that has like room for 4 crew members in it. However, this whole ship was really designed around this Cavett bridge shape. So I tried some other cockpits, and it just looked like a flying Borg cube at the end there. So I was like, yeah, we're not going to do that. As far as the weapons, it's 3 of these Exterminator 95 mega electron volt auto helion beams, 3 of the 75 mega electron volt auto neutron beams, and 4 of these CE-59 missile launchers. The base of the ship is just going to be these 4 Nova Galactic landing gears in their wide configuration. That can be forward, mid, and wide. I used 3 of these portholes just to cap off the end of the ship. So the mass limit is 4,275 before the mobility drops down to 99. So I had 1 mass left to play with. So maybe I'll play around with that later. Maybe I'll put a comm spike or something on there. But so it's just these 4 Nova Galactic 20 landing gears in their wide configuration. A shipbed 200 landing bay facing forward. They can go forwards or backwards. A single Stroud 2x1, excuse me, 1x1 companionway. Now on the back, these back 2 gears, we're going to set our grav drive. I guess we're not going to do that. I forgot that this thing doesn't have any attach points on the bottom. We're going to set our reactor. We're using a Fuser DC-403 reactor. And then in the middle, we'll put this 2x1 Stroud control station right there. On the front gears here, we're just going to put 2 of these Deimos companionways 1x1. If you're wondering why I mixed it up, since I'm using Stroud companionways and habs for the rest of the ship, the Stroud 1x1 companionways are weird in that they only have access on one end, which would be fine, but the other side doesn't have any attach points, and I needed something to hook weapons up to. So it's smooth on this side for the Stroud companionways, and it has access on this side, which didn't work because, like I said, I needed the hard points. And I'll have the missiles mounted up here in a minute. Then right here in the middle, we're gonna have a second Stroud companion, or Stroud companionway 1x1. And now in this cavity over here, we could put our Apollo GV200 grav drive right there. Now we can mount our Cavett C4 bridge from Nova Galactic right there. And then, how do I want to do this? Okay, at the top here, we're going to cap off. It's 4 decks total, although only 3 of them got habs in them, so the 4th is all cargo. But we're going to use a Galleon S204 cargo hold. Excuse me, right here in the middle. A Galleon S203 cargo hold on the edges here, and I had to flip these. So normally you'd want them like this, just for appearances. It gives a nice tapered edge here. However, I needed the hard points up here for the fuel, so we had to turn these inside out. So the curved section here is going to be facing the inside. So it's going to be like that, and it's going to leave this hard point on the outside. Same thing on this one. We're going to set it in there, and the little curve is going to be in here, just like that. Now, as far as the wings, all it is S203 cargo holds slapped together, and they can be flipped around all different ways. And we're gonna have them so they form a little shape here, like a nice little streamlined edge, and then they'll just slap right onto the grab drive on this side, and on the other one it's the same thing. Two S203 cargo holds, and they're going to go onto the side of the reactor. So that covers it up quite nicely. Now, a ship with this much cargo has to have 6 of these Nova Galactic landing gears, and the only other place I could find to put them were either, I tried some other things where I could put some of those like pinpoint landing gears, or the one from Hotech, I don't even know what they're called, but I put them down along the sides here, and that works, but I just didn't like the way it looked. So this NG20 landing gears, I'm going to use the mid configuration. So they can be forwards, mid, or excuse me, that's the wide. And then, like, I call this the mid, I don't know. But they just slap right on the outside, or the under the bottom cargo hold there. Same thing for that side. So now we have our ship proper here, and all we got to do is slap on our engines. It's 6 of them. So if you use these engines in a top-bottom configuration like they usually are, it's going to be 4 decks basically minimum of the ship, because otherwise they'll just kind of poke out the top of the ship and it'll just look weird. So we're going to put them in just like that. And that's it. As far as fuel, we're using 2 of these Titan 450 HE tanks, and they're going to go right on here. That's why we had to turn these cargo holds inside out, so we had somewhere to put that. We didn't have a lot of room left to play with. When I got to this point, I was barely able to get to the 9,000 threshold, and this is probably the biggest compromise I had to make was the fuel, because originally I had a bit more fuel on here. I used the 550 tanks, which gave me like 370 fuel or something. I don't remember. It was quite a bit. And then at the top here, we're going to use a bulwark shield generator. Like I said earlier, I tried the other big shield generator, and this thing weighs so much, I could not get the cargo up to 9,000 and keep that mobility at 100. It did not happen. So, like, even deleting all the weapons, and it's like, hey, this is just getting stupid at this point. As far as the missile racks here, we're going to use 2 equipment plates here on top of these 2 S203 cargo holds. And that will let us mount a weapon on top of the item that normally wouldn't let a weapon be attached. Same thing on the sides here of these Deimos companionways. We need hard points for these missile launchers, so I put a single horizon weapons mount. You can't put anything on the bottom here because it's going to be blocked by this gun, but it will fit on the top, like that. Now, if you noticed, there's this little guy down here, and if you try to put this in the Y configuration, which is what I was originally doing, you know, it kind of just pokes out there, and then I could put the gun here. That would work, but I don't like the way that looks. So what I've done is I made the gear smaller, and that leaves this little cavity here. So you can put the guns on a mount, at least the bottom one. I don't think a top, maybe an A-class weapon fit there, but a B-class won't. And you can put the gun there, and it fits in just fine. You can also put cargo. There's these Caravel, you can do the small ones or the big ones, and they'll actually fit up in there just like that. So if you're ever building a ship and you need some places for cargo, and you got these little gaps in between the gears like this, then that's a good place to hide cargo. I don't think I said it, but obviously this is a non-mod, non-glitch build. I don't mess around with the glitch stuff very often. I have done a few builds lately with just very minor glitches, flip glitches. I generally don't like to do that because I feel like I'm cheating, but sometimes, there's such a minor thing where it's like one little inch poking into the other object that I'll just go ahead and do it. Put in our second Horizon weapons mount there, and then another, our last CE-59 missile launcher. Now, as you can see, the ship doesn't work, obviously, because it never works right the first time. It's probably going to tell me there's a Docker problem. Obviously, the ship is connected properly, and I don't know why it does this, but you just got to figure out what it is that it doesn't think is connected properly. So what I've ended up doing usually is I'll just take all this crap apart, stick it back in here. This has always been a problem since day one with the game. What's that though? Wow. Let's put the cockpit on first. This can get really frustrating sometimes. Now we got something that's on its... See, I just put it together, something fell off. Look, the whole side of the ship fell off now. And now it works. See? This game can be really frustrating. I mean, I've had so many hours put into the ship builder, I'm totally used to it now, but it's stupid that that keeps happening. It's unfortunate. Especially now all these new players are going to be playing from the consoles, and they're going to run into these issues, and it's just going to be putting people off from playing a game, which is... it's not cool. So anyways, this is the ship. This is Quasimoto with his little hunchback here. And yeah, I'm happy with it came out. So I had another ship that's quite similar to this one. Here it is right here. Ignore the name. I haven't named this thing yet. But this one, I've got the bigger shield on it and everything, but I had to drop the cargo down to just over 8,100. So, and it's got a good amount of fuel, great weapons. So, yeah. And this one has more hab space. I did use a flip glitch here that's totally not even required. I could put anything else in there and it would work fine, but I just like the way this looked. So, flip glitches can be weird, so you have to stick that in there like that. Right, and then you can't put these in because this thing is just too big on the sides. So you put these little bracers in, flip them, and see, now we're nominal. That's a little sensor package. So, but I just thought this was an odd design. Like, I like making strange shapes for ships and stuff. Try to get away from the, I don't know, I guess the generic stuff I see all the time. So as far as the inside of the ship, there's nothing to it. You come into the single 2x1 hab. Excuse me, 1x1. Into this 2x1 hab. This is the control station for 4 crew members. And then you have 2 storage units on the sides. And that's it for the hab space, other than the cockpit. So, oh, I forgot about this 2x1 up here. So yeah, the cockpit at least is kind of roomy. It's a 2-deck cockpit design, but there's no access back here from this door. There's a storage module behind this door. I haven't actually played the expansion yet. So somebody said that there's a schematic you can get that lowers your mass by, I don't know what percentage it was, but I'll have to get that and play around with it because building these large cargo ships with 100 mobility is kind of like one of my favorite things. This, just a personal challenge. I guess we'll fly over to Serpentis. There's just one ship. That was lame. Actually, you know what? While I'm testing this, I might as well see if the schematics drop for me. Get some ship parts though. Let's try it over here.
Are you prepared?
I keep forgetting I changed my targeting.
Our engines have taken heavy damage. Craft drive down. We end this now.
So like I said, space combat in this game is kind of easy. There's not much to it. You know what, let's just go ahead and get outside the ship here. Take a few glamour shots. So as like I said, the biggest thing on this ship is probably the engines. I mean, they're like, look how much of the mass of the ship is just the motors. And for a ship with 9,000 base level cargo, that's just something that I don't see anybody else doing as far as ship builds without using mods or something like that. But it's about as simple as I can make it. The ship is literally built out of cargo modules. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I'll figure something. And I'll see you when I see you.